Hello everybody, this is Carla again, and this time I'm coming to you with a review for the first episode of Season 3 of Fox's supernatural dramedy, Sleepy Hollow. This episode was titled Eyewitness. Like a few other shows that I watched, Sleepy Hollow kind of went through a complete overhaul over the season hiatus. They changed showrunners, and several characters died at the end of last season, so they had to pretty much get a whole new cast, and it was pretty complicated. Honestly, it had me a little bit nervous because I liked the show when it began. The first season was pretty good. Second season was way weaker, so I understood why they wanted to switch things around a bit. But at the same time, I was afraid that there's always kind of the lingering doubt of, are they going to screw this up completely now or what? So I was kind of nervous. But I have to say, after having watched the first episode, I'm pretty okay with it. I think the changes they've made are good without necessarily taking away what made the show the show, Also, I just generally like the vibe. It feels more open now than it did before, because they're still in Sleepy Hollow, and it's still a very small town with very few people in it, and it feels small town. But now with Abby's transfer to the FBI, it feels like she has a lot more freedom in a way. And of course, I know that she's gonna get a new boss eventually, and it will come down again on her because she's not a boss. She's still working under someone. But still, it feels like she has more freedom. It also feels more like a procedural, to be honest. I liked the beginning of it with Abby and her boss, her then boss, of course, who were trying to catch that drug dealer dude. That was interesting. It felt like I was watching an episode of Law and Order. Of course, it changes pretty soon as Ichabod comes back, but still, it had that completely different feel to the one they had before. And I thought the refresher was good, because up to a certain point, I felt the writers kind of locked themselves up in their own mythology in season 2. So it was good for them to break out of the box for once. Of course, this overhaul also happened within the plotline of the show. After Katrina's death and Henry's death, Ichabod obviously took it really hard because they were his family, and he left and disappeared for 9 months, during which Abby then joined the FBI, and they haven't spoken to each other. And they both got, let me tell you, a complete image overhaul, and they are looking fine, both of them. I really like Ichabod with the shorter hair. He still looks like he stands out, but it doesn't look like it's an obvious wig. So that's good. I like the shorter hair. It also makes him look younger, which I think is a good thing, because even though he's from the Civil War era, you don't want him to look like George Washington or whatever. Not Civil War, sorry, that's the Independence War. I am not from the United States, so sometimes I get the terminology confused. But okay, they both look really, really great. I really like Abby's haircut as well. So, and they look refreshed, because they were kind of frustrated by their quest, by their mission in the last season. They were they felt boxed in. They felt claustrophobic on it, and it's nice that they had some time apart to really ponder what this mission meant for each of them separately. I really like that. I love that they still have Jenny in the cast, because Jenny is badass, and I love her, and she needs to be around, okay? Captain Irving, I liked him again at the beginning of the show. Season 2 was just really bad for him. Really, really bad. So, yeah, he shouldn't really be around. I hope that he comes back as a guest pod in this season at some point, but I don't think they really had anything to do with him after they went where they went in season 2. So yeah, I think it's okay that they left him out this time around. Hopefully we'll see him again at some point. As far as the new cast members go, I was actually really excited because I saw Pandora in the opening scene. Of course, we all saw the opening scene, and at first, because it was so dark, I didn't really see her face. I just heard her voice, and I was like, is that Shannon Sossamon? Because that would be... Because I remember her very fondly, actually, from her A Knight's Tale days. She wasn't the best actress back then, but I hope that she's gotten better. I guess... I don't know, I mean, I like her. I think she's a cool girl, and I like seeing her and stuff, because I can recognize her, so... I don't know what Pandora is doing, where she's from. Is she supposed to be a witch, or are we just not doing witches anymore? Like, what's going on? I'm not sure, but I like seeing her. I think she has the potential of being pretty cool. The only thing I didn't like about her introduction is that she took care of the horseman, like, really easily. It's like, oh, let's just absorb him and boom, no more horsemen. I'm just like, really? That easy? After 2 seasons, you would think they would have given him a better farewell of sorts, but whatever. I mean, I like her. I want to know what she's gonna do, where she's from, because I keep getting the feeling, what with Ichabod and his little Sumerian tablet thing, and then Pandora, which is a Greek name, as everybody knows from the bots and whatever. Like, maybe they're bringing like other cultures, because I mean, the whole lore of this, of Sleepy Hollow, they got their mission from the Book of Revelations, right? So you would think that it's kind of a Judeo-Christian kind of mythology, but I'm fine with them bringing in more stuff, because I figure you're doing a supernatural show, so if one mythology from one culture exists, why not the other ones, right? So, I mean, demon's a demon, and they've used, like, different types of demon before, like Native American, and today in this episode, they used the Chinese demon, so that was interesting, and I like the idea that all these evil forces are kind of intertwined, because they're all evil. So I look forward to seeing what Pandora's gonna do. Is she going to be the big bad this season? Or is there someone behind her? I'm not sure, but I like her. And I like Shannon Sossamon, so hopefully she's gotten a bit better at the acting thing since her Knight's Tale days, but we'll see. The other addition to the cast is Nikki Reed as Betsy Ross, and I love her. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Nikki Reed because I haven't seen her in much. I mean, she was in Twilight. Let's not talk about that. But I like Nikki Reed, in a sense. I like Betsy Ross, too, because I like the idea of there being, like, a female jack of all trades. And I think some of the best parts of the previous 2 seasons when they took a certain female figure from the Revolutionary War and made them more than history says they are. I thought that was really interesting, because you just don't hear much about females those days. You know, they were supposed to just be the wives and the mothers and the teachers and just not be in the front lines. So I find it interesting that Betsy Ross, whom honestly I don't know much about. I had no. They kept saying the flag lady, and I'm just like, what, did she make the flag? Did she have a flag? What? Then I went Wikipedia, and it told me that she's the one credited with the making of the flag. So I'm like, okay, flag lady, that makes sense. But I guess I like the idea of taking her, who's maybe not known for like her big strategy, like war involvement necessarily, taking her and making her like a revolutionary ninja of sorts, you know. And I think Nikki Reed can pull it off. I don't think she's had, I mean, maybe she's had some indie movies that I haven't seen, but I don't think I've ever seen her in a role that's necessarily like meaty, something she can get her teeth into. So I couldn't really tell you if she's a good or a bad actress, but I think she has potential. So I look forward to seeing her in this role, and I like her chemistry with Ichabod. I mean, we all know that Katrina, their chemistry wasn't really, I don't know, it's complicated with them. They didn't necessarily have the best chemistry, and then they made her evil, which made her cool, but the relationship just kind of didn't work anymore. So I don't know, I look forward to seeing what she can do, because she's also more of an equal to Ichabod. I mean, it seems that way. And I like the idea of her kind of being an undercover, like, ace in the hole for the revolutionaries. Since she's in the main cast, like she's in the opening credits and everything, I'm going to assume she's not going to stay always in flashbacks. I don't know how they're going to bring her in, but I'd really like to see how she deals with, like, living in the modern world. I mean, she died, right? She died in obviously she died. It's been like hundreds of years, but during the war she died. I mean, she lived to old age and then died. She had kids and everything. So I don't know how they're gonna do that, but I think that they're gonna eventually bring her to the future. She's not going to just stay in flashbacks in Ichabod's mind, because as much as it pains me to admit, you need some romance in this show, and it's not going to happen between Ichabod and Abby, because they're BFFs, and they're hopefully going to stay BFFs because they're epic as BFFs. But I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there, that I think they're going to bring her to the future somehow, and it would be really cool to see her, especially if she manages to adapt better than Ichabod has. That would be epic. And speaking of adaptation, the best part of the entire episode was, of course, Ichabod going into the themed restaurant. It was, I mean, this is why we watch this show, let's face it. I mean, it's not the supernatural thing, it's not the procedural aspect, it's not the action or the special effects, it's Ichabod facing the modern world. That's all we want, okay? And every time they give me something like that, it's perfect. It's so perfect. This time around, I laughed so hard. I mean, spaghetti with musket balls? Come on! How can you not find it funny? It was hilarious. And I also like the little dig he threw in. I mean, it's a hint at continuity, so I liked it. With the little, when he stood beside the giant Benjamin Franklin bobblehead, and he's like, well, at least they got one thing right. And I just laughed so hard. I pretty much had tears coming out of my eyes. And that is what I want to see more from the shows. Just like focus on Ichabod and focus on Abby and their journeys, and not necessarily the supernatural thing, although that's cool too, but just them. Their friendship and just their separate mentalities. Because Ichabod, it's true what Ginny said, that he doesn't fit. Neither does she, but Ichabod is really a fish out of water. But that's why we love him. And I hope that he doesn't ever, like, get completely adapted to the modern world, because that would be a tragedy. Oh god, there were so many funny moments, like in the when Abby was bailing him out, and he's like, farewell, my friends. Oh my god, I laughed so much. And then he did the peace and love victory sign. I was like, what? It's so funny. And we really need to see more of that, honestly. That's the heart of the show right there. I'm wondering if we're going to bring back any characters from before. Like I said, maybe Irving, or Holly, that's his name. I keep forgetting his name, oh my god. Holly, I liked him. I'm in love with the actor, so yeah, I would like to see him come back, especially because the whole thing with Jenny and Abby kind of never really got solved. And he's useful, because if Jenny isn't stealing artifacts anymore, then someone has to, right? So, yeah. It was a pretty good episode. It was a nice change of tune for the show. I think the whole restructuring shake-up thing was good. It kind of added a bit more life to it. It gave it a whole new tone, and I think that's gonna be a good thing overall if they manage to keep it up and keep it interesting, because it's so easy for it to just turn into a huge gimmick. I mean, the Pandora thing, it could be really cool, it could be really cheesy. I guess we'll see, but as of now, I'm hopeful. I think it has a lot of potential to go back to what season 1 was and what made us love the show in the first place. So yeah, pretty good episode. I kind of loved the whole of it. I didn't find many things to complain about, so nice job. I'll see you in the next one then. In case you don't know this yet, you can go visit our website at thegeekypub.com, where we have more reviews of Sleepy Hollow from the previous season, as well as other TV shows, books, movies, games, whatever you want, we have it, so be sure to check that out, and I will see you in my next review. Bye.